He had a girlfriend, but secretly hooked up with men, and the way women reacted will shock you. Watch till the end. Not long ago, Sean 2, a rising TikTok personality, found himself at the epicenter of an unexpected and intense viral storm. What began as just another trending clip on the social media platform quickly escalated into a full-blown public conversation about identity, relationships, and the complexities of human sexuality. The video in question showed him in a compromising situation with another man, a revelation that immediately captured the attention of millions of viewers across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. The content was controversial, not only because of its intimate nature, but also because it intersected with public perceptions of morality, fidelity, and the often rigid expectations of gender and sexual behavior. What made the situation even more complicated and ultimately so newsworthy was the fact that Sean 2 was publicly known to be in a relationship with a girlfriend at the time. For fans, followers, and casual observers alike, this created a jarring cognitive dissonance. Here was a man who presented himself as a committed partner, sharing snippets of his relationship online, and yet behind the scenes, he was engaging in actions that contradicted that public image. The tension between private desire and public persona became a central theme in the ensuing discussion, reflecting broader societal conversations about transparency, trust, and the evolving understanding of sexual identity. Initially, Sean 2 hesitated to acknowledge that he was the individual featured in the footage. This hesitation was understandable, given the intensity of the scrutiny he faced. Social media, after all, is an unforgiving space where missteps are magnified and mistakes are archived indefinitely. Celebrities and influencers often live under the constant microscope of public opinion, and every post, comment, or video is dissected by millions. The pressure of this environment can make any revelation, especially one as personal and controversial as this, feel overwhelming. For Sean, there was undoubtedly fear. Fear of losing fans, fear of disappointing loved ones, and fear of being judged not just for his actions, but for his identity. But the social media machine does not wait. As the video circulated, reactions poured in. Some were incredulous, others judgmental, and yet others were surprisingly supportive. Comments ranged from criticism of his perceived dishonesty to discussions about the fluidity of sexuality and the importance of authenticity. Within this whirlwind, it became increasingly clear that attempting to deny or hide from the situation would only intensify the backlash. The digital age has a way of surfacing the truth, whether one is ready to confront it or not. For Sean, this meant that the window to respond on his own terms was narrowing rapidly. Eventually, the mounting pressure left him with no choice but to come forward and confirm his identity. This act of acknowledgement was significant for several reasons. First, it was a moment of accountability. In admitting that he was the person in the video, Sean 2 was confronting the reality of his actions head-on, rather than allowing speculation and rumors to shape the narrative. Second, it provided a rare glimpse into the human dimension behind the viral clip. While many online debates focused on scandal and salaciousness, his admission reminded audiences that behind every viral incident is a real person navigating complex emotions, relationships, and self-discovery. Sean's response went beyond a simple acknowledgement. He issued a statement that reflected introspection, remorse, and a desire to reconcile the conflicting aspects of his life. He explained that his actions were part of a larger journey of self-exploration and understanding, particularly concerning his sexuality. This candid reflection was remarkable because it defied the conventional narrative of scandal, which often prioritizes sensationalism over self-awareness. By framing the situation as a moment of personal growth, Sean invited a more nuanced conversation about what it means to understand oneself, especially in a world where public perception can feel more consequential than personal truth. At the heart of the discourse was the tension between private identity and public expectation. Many viewers were grappling with questions about honesty, fidelity, and the morality of Sean's choices. Some criticized him for deceiving his girlfriend, arguing that exploration of one's sexuality should never come at the expense of another person's trust. Others recognized the courage required to confront one's sexual identity publicly, particularly in a social landscape that often stigmatizes deviations from heteronormative behavior. These conflicting perspectives underscore the complexity of modern social norms, where authenticity is celebrated, yet ethical responsibility remains paramount. This incident also illuminated the unique pressures faced by men in the digital age, particularly those navigating non-traditional sexual identities. For years, societal expectations have shaped how men express attraction, desire, and intimacy, often imposing strict limitations on what is deemed acceptable. In this context, a man publicly exploring relationships with both men and women challenges entrenched norms, sparking debates not just about personal conduct but also about masculinity, social acceptance, and evolving definitions of sexual identity. Sean 2's story became a case study in these tensions, demonstrating how personal truth can clash with public expectation, yet also showing the potential for dialogue, understanding, and growth. Another layer to consider is the role of social media as both judge and confidant. Platforms like TikTok magnify every decision, every confession, and every mistake, but they also provide unprecedented opportunities for connection and validation. In Sean's case, the viral nature of the video meant that he could no longer process his journey privately. Yet, it also allowed him to engage directly with audiences who might empathize, critique, or offer support. The immediacy of feedback created an environment where personal accountability and public reflection intersected, forcing a reckoning that was as much about social perception as it was about internal understanding. Moreover, Sean's story sparked broader discussions about sexual fluidity and bisexuality, topics that remain stigmatized in many communities. By acknowledging his attraction to both men and women, he challenged the notion that sexual identity must be rigid or binary. This was particularly impactful given his status as a public figure whose influence extends beyond mere entertainment. For many viewers, his candidness served as validation, an example that exploring and understanding one's sexuality does not diminish personal worth or social respect. It also highlighted the ongoing need for conversations about consent, honesty in relationships, and the ethical navigation of desire. The response from fans and followers was, predictably, mixed. Some expressed disappointment and anger, particularly those who felt personally betrayed by his earlier concealment. Others praised his honesty and bravery, emphasizing the importance of self-acceptance and authenticity in a world often hostile to deviation from societal norms. These reactions underscore a fundamental tension in public discourse. People want figures they admire to embody both moral integrity and relatability, yet these ideals are often in conflict when human complexity enters the picture.
There's some DL allegations that was put against me. That was me in the video. I was cheating. I did have a girlfriend at the time. And looking back on this shit is just a lot for me. Like, I'm going through a lot personally, just with people hitting me up and text me about the shit. And instead of lying about it, honestly, I thought this was my time to, come clean to my peoples, my girlfriend, my family, my homies, all that. The shit was me. And all I could really say is, I apologize. Not to people, but to my girlfriend especially. Especially, all the lying I was doing, all the sneaking around, all the saying I'm going with my homie. The whole time I was laid up.
In the weeks following the viral incident, Sean 2's story continued to resonate. Discussions emerged about the evolving definitions of masculinity, the visibility of bisexual men in social media culture, and the ways in which public confession can simultaneously liberate and complicate personal life. He became a focal point for broader debates about privacy, morality, and the consequences of digital exposure, showing that one viral moment can have ramifications far beyond the initial clip. Ultimately, what makes this story compelling is not merely the scandal or the intrigue, but the human dimension at its core. Sean 2's experience reflects the challenges of growing up, exploring identity, and making mistakes in a world where every action can be instantly broadcast and dissected. It is a reminder that sexuality, relationships, and personal growth are rarely linear or simple, and that accountability, honesty, and self-reflection are essential components of navigating a complex, interconnected society. In the end, Sean's choice to come forward and admit his involvement in the video marked a pivotal turning point. It was a moment of accountability, a statement of self-awareness, and an invitation for dialogue about authenticity and sexual exploration. While public judgment and criticism were inevitable, the incident also offered an opportunity for learning, understanding, and empathy for both Sean and his audience. It reminded everyone that behind every viral story is a person wrestling with identity, ethics, and human complexity, and that acknowledging truth, however uncomfortable, is often the first step toward growth. Through this episode, the conversation around Hi Sean 2 extended beyond a single video or scandal. It became part of a larger cultural moment, highlighting how society navigates issues of sexuality, honesty, and social scrutiny. In an era where digital exposure is instantaneous and unrelenting, the ability to confront oneself, accept complexity, and communicate openly is both courageous and instructive. For Sean 2, the viral moment was more than just controversy. It was a turning point, a catalyst for self-discovery, and a reflection of the evolving dynamics of relationships, identity, and social perception in the digital age.
I'm attracted to bisexual men. And so when manic, I'm on Grindr as a straight woman. Honestly, I think I'm a little bit bi myself, but I haven't had like a lesbian adult experience, and I'm just waiting for that to happen, but I don't know how that's going to happen. But anyway, so I'm attracted to bi men. Is there something in my fucking eye? And I've had an encounter recently with a bisexual man, and he was openly to me, and I believe he's open to the public, but it was great. I definitely think I'm attracted to the more of the soft top. I like the masculinity, but also I kind of like men who are androgynous. Like you can't really, like they give like pretty, but they give hot, like they just...
After the initial video scandal, Hi Sean 2 stepped forward and took full responsibility for his actions. In a heartfelt statement, he admitted that he had handled things poorly and made deliberate choices to cheat, lie, and manipulate his girlfriend while exploring relationships with men. He expressed deep remorse, apologizing not only to her but also to her family for the stress, pain, and emotional turmoil he had caused. He emphasized that this moment of accountability was part of a larger journey to understand himself and his sexuality. Through introspection, he came to the realization that he identifies as bisexual. He thanked his supporters for their encouragement, acknowledging the mix of both positive messages and harsh criticism he had received online. Despite the backlash, he affirmed his commitment to living authentically and embracing his truth, no longer hiding his sexual orientation. His posts reflected a candid honesty, showing moments with men and his girlfriend alike, highlighting the complexities of navigating his identity in the public eye. Originating from Chicago, Hi Sean 2 became part of a broader conversation about sexuality, honesty, and the challenges of being publicly scrutinized while exploring one's desires. While some might have initially labeled his behavior as DL or secretive, his openness demonstrated a move toward authenticity. Even in casual posts discussing sexual encounters, he maintained a focus on safety and consent, further emphasizing a responsible approach. Ultimately, this situation sheds light on a deeper cultural shift. A straight-appearing man, often perceived as tough or traditionally masculine, openly navigating relationships with transgender women and men, is challenging old assumptions about sexual identity. His journey illustrates the tension between societal expectations and personal truth, showing that living authentically often requires confronting stigma, judgment, and the complexity of human desire. Just when you thought things couldn't get more complicated, they did. But there's a bigger lesson here. Many men who identify as DL or down low struggle to feel comfortable with their sexuality. And that's a shame, because there are people out there who would love, respect, and value them, but first, they have to accept themselves. One creator made this point, and initially, I assumed people wouldn't agree. I was wrong. Comments flooded in from women openly expressing their attraction to bisexual men. Sugar Michelle, for instance, wrote, Men are absolutely the best. I love a bisexual man. It turns me on, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the honesty. And they're so manly, too. Similarly, Rhea chimed in. I love bisexual men.
So hot to me.
People look at me crazy when I say it, but I don't care. Chrissy Love and Carmen Fax echoed the sentiment, saying they're drawn to men who are honest about their sexuality, finding them fun, respectful, and exciting. What's interesting is that this highlights a shift in cultural norms. In previous decades, being DL or otherwise non-straight within the Black community came with heavy stigma. Exposure could mean ostracism or ridicule. But it's 2025, and times have changed. Today, if a man is caught exploring relationships with other men, it doesn't automatically destroy his social or dating life. Women are still willing to engage with him, and in many circles, honesty about sexuality earns respect rather than scorn. Even men from more traditionally macho backgrounds, like gang-affiliated circles, are navigating the space openly. A recent Instagram example is a man going by The Official Blood YD, who admitted he was the DL man from Chicago exposed online. He wasn't hiding or apologizing. Instead, he embraced his truth. His followers' reactions were telling. Women commented supportively, some playful, some admiring, showing that openness no longer carries the same social penalty it once did. The takeaway? Acceptance, both self-acceptance and societal tolerance, is reshaping how men explore their sexuality. What was once shameful is now increasingly normalized, allowing people to live authentically without losing respect, relationships, or social standing. Some might argue that this trend signals progress in society, that attitudes towards sexuality are evolving and acceptance is growing. But what's striking is how this plays out in real life. If a man wants you, he wants you, regardless of your preferences or assumptions. The interest and attraction women show toward men exploring their sexuality is remarkable, and it suggests that being open about who you are doesn't automatically drive people away. What seems inevitable is that more men will feel empowered to come out, gaining support and confidence along the way. The old fears of secrecy no longer hold the same weight. And here's an observation. Some women claim they would never date a man who is bisexual or DL, yet experience and history show that many will still pursue those relationships if the connection is right. Awareness of a partner's sexuality doesn't necessarily deter attraction. Sometimes, it even heightens it. The landscape in 2025 is vastly different from that of 1985, 1995, or even 2005. Just as some women who once claimed they would never date white men do so now when the opportunity arises, the same applies to men exploring relationships across sexuality lines. Bisexual or openly DL men are finding romantic connections without the social hurdles their predecessors faced. In fact, some may even find it easier to form connections than heterosexual men, simply because honesty and authenticity are increasingly valued. This is the reality of today's social dynamics. Authenticity, self-acceptance, and transparency are winning out. It's a world where people can embrace their truth without losing opportunities for love, respect, or companionship.